Checker Pro Joe here on the Checker Pro Radio Show, bringing the best contractors to you, my listeners and viewers today here on the podcast version of the Checker Pro Radio Show. Cody Johnson, a garage door veteran, is joining me here from Garage Door Doctor, and I've got a question for him. Cody, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for coming onto the program as you do with your expertise. Questions come in. What's a safety inspection and why is it so important?
Yeah. So I call it a 29-point safety check is what we call it here. And why it's so important is we're just checking out the safety components of the garage door and the garage door opener. A couple big ones, just for your knowledge, is like on the opener, like what safety things on that, right? Well, we got the photo eyes at the bottom of the tracks. Are they aligned up? Are they at the right height? Sometimes we get to a client's house and they're mounted up at the motor head and they've got a 3-year-old kid running around. Those safety sensors need to be within 6 inches of the ground. It is a safety for kids and animals. That's the whole goal here. So something like that, we'd flag that and bring that up to the client. There's a second safety on the opener. It should be able to hit a 2x4 on the bottom, hit it and stop and go back up. And again, that's to not maim and kill things. I mean, it sounds a little bit dangerous, right? But that happens a lot. A lot of people can get hurt or maimed on these, and potentially killed. So that is a very important safety. And then we kind of look into other things on the garage door. Are the cables frayed? Are they rusted? What does the door weigh when you put the door on a scale? And you put the door on a scale, and it weighs 75 pounds on the ground. Well, how am I going to lift that up? Maybe I can. I'm a big guy, but can my wife lift it up? Can my kids lift it up if the power's out? No, the door should weigh no more than 5 pounds on the ground. So these are things that we're trying to find out if there's an issue with the garage door. A lot of times we get out there and everything's like it's supposed to be, which is great. That's fantastic. We tune up the door, no problems, and give them a clean bill of health. But there's other times that there are some issues with it. Think of it like going to the doctor and they check your vitals, right? If your blood pressure's up, you red alert, right? So, so the goal here is just check out the vitals of the garage door and the garage door opener. If there's any issues, bring it up to you and let you know what the solutions are.
I have a great idea for you, Cody, and your whole team at Garage Door Doctor. When I go to my doctor, they give me an annual physical. Maybe you should call it the annual garage door physical because you're the doctor.
We are. I love that idea. How about that? We should do that. So
I'm sure that's come up before in the boardroom there at Garage Door Doctor. I just think it's great because, you're right. It's kind of like a physical. You go to the doctor and they check all these things, a 29-point or something on your body, your blood pressure, your blood work. They look in your ears and your nose. They check other things. Pound on your chest, hit you on the knee for reflexes, all that stuff to make sure you're operating correctly. It's the same thing for your garage door.
That's right. Every once in a while, Jim, I don't know if you've seen this, but I got that stethoscope. Let's see if I could do this on camera. I can't, but that stethoscope over there. And I've got that. And sometimes you gotta put that on the door and you gotta see what's the pulse of this door. Okay. So
yeah, seriously.
But
yeah.
It is fun. And it's fun. What I really like though is like when I'm doing that safety inspection, I like it when the client's out there because it's also another opportunity to educate the client on what their systems are. Because, most of the time before I did garage doors now, I've done it for a long, long time. Okay. But, let's take any other thing. Like, do I know how this component, how this device works inside my house? I usually don't. Right. And to me, if a technician comes out and they can educate me on 29 different specific points on that system, I like that because now I'm speaking their language. I understand it better. I understand what to be careful for so I can protect my family. And I really, sometimes the clients just go back in and that's not a problem. We're still going to do our job, but I love it when they hang out with us so we can not break down the door, but like go over the entire scope of the door and the opener. We love to educate clients. And so if anybody ever out there calls us and asks us to do the safety or the 29-point safety check, which is part of our job every time we come out, we love to help educate you and show you everything.
Education is so important. That's one reason why I host the Check a Pro radio show. Some people call it infotainment, right? Because we're informing and entertaining at the same time. And people do want to learn. So I suggest calling Cody and his team from Garage Door Doctor, have them come out and shadow them a bit, ask some questions about what's going on with their garage door. An educated homeowner is going to be able to make better decisions for their home. That's what I believe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't want any client to make a decision on any sort of repair or replacement if they don't know what they're making the decision of. That's where buyer's remorse comes up.
Mm.
They don't understand what's happening. They don't know what they're not getting. Like I tell my team, this is their responsibility to educate the client as to what's happening and what needs to happen.
Cody, as always, thank you so much for coming onto the show as our expert in the garage door space. If you want to get a hold of Cody and his team, all of his information is located in the description of this podcast. We'll see you next time, Cody.
Well, thank you.